Raise your hand. Hare Krishna. Let's start off with Mangalacharan. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Chalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Swapadakam. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishapanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vatsadi Bhakta Vrinda. Come on, all of you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama, Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, all of you. So Hare Krishna. So which chapter are we doing today, and what is special about this chapter? Can you tell me the name of the chapter? Chapter number? Technically, this chapter I should be taking tomorrow, but I'm doing it today. Okay, I'm going to show you. It's called the Vishwarupam or Virat Rupam, the universal form. Vishwarup Sandarsana Yoga. So the Vishwarupam, Virat Rup, both are same, interchangeably used. Right? So yesterday I told you that we are going to see theory. Right? We saw theory of the opulences. Today we will see the video, right? Complete visuals of the Vishwarupam. We will not complete this chapter today. We will do it between today and tomorrow. Ideally, this was supposed to be tomorrow and Monday. But since I'm going to be away and there is another new teacher by name Sri Lakshmi who will be from Monday onwards for the next 4 days, I'll finish this chapter so that you can start with the 12th or any doubts. Right? So Vishwarupa. So I'm going to start. Navacha mad anugrahaya praramam guhyam adhyatma samjijam tad yatyakyotam vachastena mohayam vigato mama. Hare Krishna. Yes, you can read.
Arjuna said, I have heard your instruction on confidential spiritual matters, which you have so kindly delivered unto me, and my illusion is now dispelled.
So he says, I have heard instructions from you on this confidential matter, and my illusion is dispelled. So why is Arjuna highlighting this? Is because this is all about the fact that, so far Arjuna was thinking Krishna is just a friend, Krishna is a relative, he has his two-handed form, and this is all special about him. So he says with this, that my illusion is dispelled, which means that he understands that he's a supreme personality of Godhead. Right? 11th, the universal form. Thank you so much, Simran. I just saw your message, but thank you so much for writing in the chat. Yes, this is the universal form or Virat Rupa, and this Arjuna says so. So the 10th chapter, just to have a quick recap, we saw Krishna is unknowable and source of all. Right? So Krishna is the source of all sources. Name Vidu Surakana. So that means that he talks about what both spiritual and the Sarva Karna Karna, right? Material world is all because of Krishna. Pure Bhakti is the essence of Bhagavad Gita in the 4th Chatur Shloka Bhagavad Gita. This is very important, and what it says is it talks about Sambandha, it talks about Abhinaya and Prayojan, which means what is the relationship we have, what is the process, and what is the destination. Arjuna accepts Krishna's supreme position. Sarvam etad ritam manye. Right? So what is Arjuna's supreme position? And Arjuna acceptance of supreme position. Is it just that because he's a friend? No. So he just says Param Brahma, Parandama, Pavitram Paramam So Vibhuti means one among the many and one above the many, right? So for example, if you take animals and the best of animal is lion, so it's one among them, but it is also above them, right? So that's what Vibhuti actually means. So now we are jumping into the 11th chapter. It has 55 verse. So we will cover half of it today because we have a lot more to cover today. So Arjuna requests Krishna to show his universal form. Krishna ichami te rupa. So he says, if you wish, you can show me the rupa. And Lord Krishna describes his universal form between 11.5 to 11.8. Bahuni adrishta pur So he says that if you, Lord Krishna now describes the universal form after Arjuna sees. So Arjuna's vision of universal form, Anekar Bhuta Darshana. So how is Arjuna's vision, of this particular universal form? What does he perceive? And what does he experience from them? Drishtam na vindami samam cha Vishnu. So what is his feeling? How does he experience, right? We'll try and see if we can cover till 31 verses. And then we'll see Krishna's reply, which is 11.32 to 34. Kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravarto, right? So he's talking about what is kala, what's time factor, and how does it have an impact, and how does Krishna have an impact? And Arjuna's prayers, again his prayers, but very interesting prayers. 11.35 to 46, he says, Sagad Gadam Bita Bithaha Pranamya. Pranamya means, I'm praying, right? Surrender. So that is the specialty. And pure bhakti needed to see Krishna. He says, only bhakti is required to, Ananya bhakti is required to see Krishna. Nothing else is required. So, so we're going to start the chapter. And before we start the chapter, the very important thing which you should remember is now, so far we had theory. So 9th chapter was a love letter, which Krishna wrote to all of us. And 10th chapter, he's talking about himself, right? Because Aishwarya, all this opulence he's talking, because that's what they say, right? In a proposal, you go and talk about yourself and highlight what is your speciality and all that. Finally, 11th chapter, he's going to give a demo of the Vishwarupa. So that's what we are going to see. And especially for neophytes, this is like, oh, wow, we need that wow factor, right? So when you see the person first time, what attracts us? Can someone tell me, when you see the person first time, before we get here, what attracts you when you're just looking at the person for the first time?
Appearance.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Appearance, right? So appearance is so important, which is why if you notice, for the first day when we appear, all of us are very well dressed. If your video is on, first time when you come, you'll be well dressed. Today, you won't really care, right? If I come in a t-shirt or a jean or whatever, right? Because your appearance, it's crossed that stage because you have a relationship, right? But the first time, very beautifully, as you said, right? The first time, your very first look is your appearance, right? So the 10th chapter is about that. So 10th chapter and even 11th chapter is a display. So he's now displaying what is his powers, because we are all neophytes, right? We are beginners. So we need that power, right? So you see somebody who's a very beautiful girl, getting down from an amazing big car, your eyes will naturally catch. So for the girls, right? So the guy is very good looking, gets off from the car, right? So the very first look is the appearance, right? So Krishna is showing his power, right? So all opulences put together, and that's the display of his power in Vishwarupa. So it's a wow factor. So Arjuna, from friend factor, will get into that wow, right? Of course, his core relationship is Sakya. The 5 relationship are core. Over and above that, there is something called primary rasas, which are 5, and the secondary rasas, which is like anger, fear, and reverence, and wow, right? So here it's Arpuda, right? He's like wonderstruck. So that's what we're going to see in today's chapter. So 11.1 to 11, yes, you can start reading. Hare Krishna. If fast, if you read only, we need to do Goloka Vrindavan, little bit of Goloka, and we'll have time for the love story of Subhadra and Arjuna, right? So please go ahead and start fast and let's read fast. Hare Krishna.
O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity as realized through your inexhaustible glories. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see here before me your actual position, I yet wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that universal self. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So in the 10th chapter itself, I started. That's why I sang that song, Param Brahma. So he knows he is the powerful of all. So he says, I don't have a doubt. I know very well. And I also know your actual position. But what I would like to see you is, I want to see now, how did you come into this aspect world? How did you create this world, right? And if my eyes can see, if I'm able to, see, and if you think I can you please show me the universal form, right? Can you see the request from Arjuna? This is what is humble. He never said, and that's why when you ask something to someone, you should have the tone which is polite. But most of the time, the way we go about, whether it's family, ma, give me this, na. Can you make one dosa for me? Like as if the person is a royal servant of ours, right? I don't know many times if we have ever thanked. So are with the friends, we take it for granted. Being friendly is different, taking it for granted is different. So Arjuna, can you see, he says so well, right? He says, oh, master of, kindly show me the universal form if you think I can behold, right? So he is saying that, and see how Arjuna is being reciprocated. Now, how Krishna is talking. Hare Krishna, please go ahead.
The blessed Lord said, my dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, behold now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of very divine forms, multicolored like the sea.
So he's going to show
Should I read the next
forms which are like sea, right? They're comparing with sea because sea is unlimited, sky is unlimited. So the comparison is drawn there because we can understand only that. Thank you so much, Manashi. Go ahead, 11.7. Hare Krishna.
Whatever you wish to see can be seen all at once in this body. This universal form can show you all that you now desire, as well as whatever you may desire in the future. Everything is here completely, but you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give to you divine eyes by which you can behold my mystic opulence.
Thank you so much, Manisha Verma. So what is he saying is so beautiful. He says that whatever you want to see, the universal form, right? Whatever you desire, yes, you can see, but not with your eyes. Current eyes are material, so you won't be able to see this with material eyes, because why? We will get to know shortly when we unwind. So what he is going to tell is, you can see the present, you can see the past, you can also see the future which you desire. So everything at one shot, one place, not just one universe. Imagine we saw in Goloka chart the 14 planetary systems in one universe. Likewise, he's able to see the multiple universes, so that's the thing. So what is the max you can see? We have a 3D show, we have a 5D, maybe 7D in some places. Beyond 7D we have not seen, right? At least I have not seen. So this is an MD, which means multi-dimensional, right? So he's going to see the MD show. And this is the glasses which you have to wear. As Arjuna is wearing glasses, I want each one of you all to wear the same glasses, so mentally you can visualize. Thanks to the pictures drawn, because all these are drawn by devotees based on the scriptural description. Hare Krishna. So we'll go ahead. Sanjaya Uvacha Evam Uktva Tato Rajan Mahayogeshwaro Harihi Darshayamasha Partaya Paramam Rupam Aishwaram. Hare Krishna.
Sanjaya said, O king, speaking thus, the Supreme, the Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna.
Hare Krishna. So Sanjaya said, O king, right? So he's talking to Duryodhana. So Duryodhana's father, Dhritarashtra. He says that the Lord, right, the Supreme Personality of God, he said, like, displayed the universal form to Arjuna. So now the movie starts and we are in the theater, right? And this theater is a multi-dimensional multiplex theater. All sides we are able to see Krishna. Let's see what Arjuna is seeing. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Reddy. Please go ahead. Read.
Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths and unlimited eyes. It was all wondrous. The form was decorated with divine dazzling ornaments and arrayed in many garbs. He was garlanded gloriously, and there were many scents smeared over his body. All was magnificent, all expanding, unlimited. This was seen by Arjuna.
When you see the picture, this is what is drawn by devotees. So neat, and the descriptions are so deep. So it said that they are so wondrous, right? It is decorated with such dazzling ornaments and garlands, right? So much sense, and and we had our great engineering student here, right? I hope he is here. And I'm sure a lot of you all are strong in maths. So I wish all of you all can memory Shivam. Yeah, Shivam is here. So Shivam and everyone can make a note and tell me how many meters of cloth or how many meters of how much quantity of flowers is required for dressing up the stage. You can tell me at the end of the class. So that's the test. So as I'm going to explain, you all can mathematically start calculating the length, breadth, width, and how much is required, right? If you have to get him a dress outfit. So he and so magnificent and expanding, and it's unlimited. Right? 11.12. Hare Krishna.
If hundreds of thousands of suns rose up at once into the sky, they might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form.
Hare Krishna. So he says hundreds and thousands of suns. So you can imagine with one sun, if we see the sky, it's glaring, right? It burns our eyes. So if you see hundreds and thousands of suns burning up, how will it be? It like really burn our eyes off, right? So he says like hundreds and thousands of suns are on the sky. It might resemble exactly that kind of an effulgence, right? So that is what he is talking about. So 11.13. See this, while you're reading and listening to me, just have a look at the pictures. They are extremely beautiful. They try to pin the videographic style of what we want. Hare Krishna. Yes, 11.13. Yes, sure. One more you can do. Thank you for reading. Hare Krishna.
At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe, situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands.
So he says at that time one could see the universal form of the Lord, right? The universal form, it is situated in one place because it's all happening at that place where the battle is happening, and it's a chariot. Even though it's situated in one place, it is so many, right? The universe seems to be divided and it's many, many thousands, right? So everything can be seen. 11.14. So we can now see Arjuna's reaction. So far he's seeing, observing. Now we can see his reaction. Hare Krishna. 11.14. Come on, all of you are fast. Reading.
Then bewildered, astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna began to pray with folded hands, offering obeisances to the Supreme Lord. Hare
Krishna. It's a little, so now he starts praying. He doesn't know what to do. He starts giving respect. But just see how the respect is. It's very, very funny prayer, which he does. And we will come to that shortly. So what is he seeing and what is he feeling is what is going to be described now. So 11.15, Hare Krishna. Go ahead and read.
Arjuna said, "My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled together in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and many sages and divine serpents."
So he's telling that I can see all the demigods, right? So whomever we were talking about, Shiva, Ganesha, everyone, you can see in the picture. So literally he could see everybody in that picture. And also Indra, Brahma, everyone sitting there, and including Shiva and many sages and divine serpents, right? All here he's able to see at one shot. And 16 and 17 talks about the various things. Like imagine if there are multiple faces, what will you see? Multiple eyes, multiple mouths, right? Multiple body and multiple clubs. This, Sangha, Chakra, Gada, all that, conch shell, everything is multiple, thousands he is able to see. So that's what 16 and 17 talks about. You can read both together. Hare Krishna.
O Lord of the universe, I see in your universal body many, many forms, bellies, mouths, eyes, expanded without limit. There is no end, there is no beginning, and there is no middle to all this. Your form, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs, is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence, which is fiery and immeasurable like the sun.
So he says that very form is so scary and fiery, right? It's nice, but it's also very scary because it's too bright, too much of effulgence, and it is right. really eating. Ananda, you can do the next verse if you can unmute. Otherwise, somebody else can also read. Hare Krishna. So this page, same person read so that you all can, after reading 2, you can stop. Hare Krishna. Yeah, please mute and. Anisha, you can read. Ananda will take some time to unmute on this.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah,
You
Manisha.
are
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
supreme primal. Yes, ma'am. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the best in all the universes. You are inexhaustible, and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of religion, the eternal personality of Godhead. You are the origin without beginning, middle, or end. You have numberless arms, and the sun and the moon are among your great unlimited eyes. By your own radiance, you are heating this entire universe.
Hare Krishna. So he says that you're the.
Shall I read the next one too?
Yeah, I'll finish the 2. Thank you. So he says you're the prime object, right? And you're the objective because we all are focusing towards reaching, right? Whether it's a karmi or a jnani or a bhakta, everybody focuses on him. He says you are the best in all the universes, right? Of all the things. You're the oldest, inexhaustible, at the same time youngest. Why? Because he always says, right? Nava Yamanam Cha, he's always young. You see Krishna, whether when he was in the when he was in the battlefield, he was over 100 years, right? But he would always look like 20. Have you ever seen anywhere a picture of Krishna where he looks old? Would you even forget about old? Have you ever seen him as a middle-aged man? You won't. So he's always eternally young. So he's the origin. So that's what you guys chanting, right? One of your it's chanting. Vishwaraha Parama Krishnaha Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So you're the cause of all causes. You're the beginning and the middle and the end, right? So everything is so beautifully explained. So 11.20 and 21 you can read now. Hare Krishna.
Although you are one, you are spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O Great One, as I behold this terrible form, I see that all the planetary systems are perplexed. All the demigods are surrendering and entering into you. They are very much afraid, and with folded hands, they are singing in the Vedic hymns.
So he says that you're spread through the sky and the planets, right? So it's like all the space you're there, right? Entire planetary system. So you can see here, right? So everything, all demigods are there, spread all over and across, and all are surrendering to you. They are so scared and folded hands and they are singing, right? So they are very scared looking at this Vishwarupa. So now we'll see how Arjuna feels. 11.23. Hare Krishna. Would anybody like to read?
O mighty armed one,
Thank you,
all
sir.
the planets with their demigods are disturbed at seeing your many faces, eyes, arms, leaves, and legs, and your terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I.
This is a very beautiful confession of Arjuna. He's telling now all the demigods are disturbed, and so am I. So Arjuna is a Kshatriya, and for a Kshatriya to get disturbed is not something which is usual, because Kshatriya, even if it's a small child, even if a Scorpio bites, they don't get disturbed. They're very strong, because and even death they don't get disturbed, right? So they cry, they mourn, but then immediately they get up and fight, because that's the very nature of them, and that's how they are trained, right? So that in spite of, so he's telling that I'm also scared, not only the devil. So he's openly confessing. So we were talking about Satyam, truthfulness, right? And I'm going to tell you a story about that. But all I'm talking is there is so much of purity and so much of transparency that he openly tells that I'm also scared, like the demigod. So he's confessing that. Hare Krishna, 11.24. Yes, Shiva.
O all-pervading Vishnu, I can no longer maintain my equilibrium. Seeing your radiant color, fill the skies and beholding your eyes and mouth, I am afraid. Hare Krishna.
So openly telling that I can't maintain, I'm just going out of my head. Many times we tell, no, I don't know what's happening. My head is spinning, I'm going mad. We normally tell when exams are just around the corner. But here, he's seeing and he's telling it's too much for me to digest. Because remember two things. One is it's like multidimensional and he has never seen that. So if you suddenly see your classmate whom you met in LKG or UKG and in such a high position, right? And the CEO of one of those Tatas or Birlas or Reliance, even then you'll be stunned, right? You'll tell, oh my God, I don't know how to talk to her. He or she doesn't seem to be the person whom I knew, right? So different and so indifferent also at the same time. So that's what, like, he beautifully says that it's going to be difficult. No problem, Sundar. You can take rest for today. So 11.26 and 27.
All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, and Bhishma, Drona, and Karna, and all our soldiers are rushing into your mouths, their heads smashed by your fearful teeth. I see that some are being crushed between your teeth as well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly says all the sons of Dhritarashtra, right? So all the 100 sons. They're specifically highlighting Bhishma, Drona, and Karna, right? So specifically Bhishma, right? All those who stood against Draupadi, all of them are rushing into the mouth. So when Arjuna is seeing a particular part, which is the mouth, he is able to see the view, which is the enlarged view, right? Like as if he's seeing in a microscope. It's enlarging, and the mouth, he's able to see, every soldier going, Karna going inside and literally getting crushed. Imagine the head is being chewed, so that kind of a feel, and blood is coming all over. All this he's able to see with his eyes, and how it appears is any part he sees, it magnifies and gives a huge version of that, right? So it's like it's like a movie, or it's like your screen, right? You have a small part, touch screen, and you try and enlarge it, you can magnify that part, right? So like that, likewise with that Divya Drishti, he is able to see that expanded view. So 11.28, Hare Krishna.
As the rivers flow into the sea, so all these great warriors enter your blazing mouth and perish. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So he's just giving an example of the river flowing into the sea, which he is talking about is that of the devotee and the warriors entering into the mouth, but both perish, right? So he's just comparing the devotees and non-devotees and the effect which is happening. So yeah, this one, and we'll stop here. Please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
The blessed Lord said, Time, I am destroyer of the worlds, and I have come to engage all people, with the exception of you, the Pandavas. All the soldiers here on both sides will be slain.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. So he says, time I am. So now, so far, what he was showing is Vishwarupa. He's also going to show that. He's also showing towards the end the Kala Rupa. So he's telling, I am time. So the Sudarshan Chakra is time. And he says, I'm destroying everyone, every world, right? Only exception is Pandava. Other than that, every soldier, be it your side, that side, everyone are going to be destroyed. So he is giving a picture, because otherwise Arjuna is not willing to fight. So Krishna is giving a demonstration of how he can make him, right? So that's the complete demo of this. So with that, we will not end, but we will end for today, because 11th chapter, we want to have it for 2 days, today and tomorrow. So we'll continue the balance tomorrow. What should I show you? I'll tell you the story, but before that, I will tell the prayer and we'll do the mind control. Is that fine? Remember, we were doing a bit of mind control. And let me finish the Goloka Chapter. It's just 2 minutes. So remember, I was talking about the planet, which you can see, and I spoke to you about the Vaikunta. We did not see Goloka, because now it's time for us to see the Goloka Vrindavan. So this is it's a part of Vaikunta, Goloka Vrindavan, and it's the highest planet in the spiritual world. So here you can you see Krishna with Radharani, because Radharani is the biggest devotee, and she is present here in the Goloka in the middle. This is the rasa called the Madhurya rasa, and the gopis, right? So you can see the Ashta, the 8 gopis who are around, right? These are the main gopis who are around. Now, if you see, these are like the lotus petals, and each petal there is a pastime. So you will see Krishna at a younger age also, parallelly happening, right? Like a multi-dimensional universe. And parallelly, you can see Krishna with the cowherd boys. So these are all happening, Leelas are happening. So everybody, so the greatest devotees are all here. And if you go here, you can see towards the outer petal, you can see Chaitanya. So all pastimes of Chaitanya is happening here. So all these are happening parallelly. And this whole thing is called Goloka. And this is the place of the gopis and Krishna, right? And now we have, right? You also have, I'm just trying to enlarge just one second. We have Madhura, We have Jagannath Puri and Dwaraka. Now, this is not the Indian Madura or Jagannath Puri. So it is basically, the Madura over there in spiritual world also, Jagannath Puri also, and Dwaraka. Dwaraka, who's there? Dwaraka is the queens, right? The queens, all the 16 lakh 108 queens, right, are in Dwaraka, right? And who are the gatekeepers on the four sides? If you see, you have the four names, which is Pradyumna, Vasudeva, Sankarshana. Sankarshana is Balram, and we have Aniruddha. So the four sides are guarded by the four expansions of Krishna. You don't actually need a guard, but it's just for understanding that they are also guarded, and it is not easy for anyone to make an entrance. This is a Goloka chart. I think Prabhu has already shared. You can go ahead. So for all of us, we are in the material world. Our aim is to go to Vaikunta, but of course we are directly going to Goloka, which the only difference between Vaikunta and Goloka is both Vaikunta is what? Vaikunta means, Kunta means, problems, right? Or miseries. The place without miseries, right, is what is called Vaikunta. So Goloka also, the only difference is here in Vaikunta, the relationship is that of a servitor, right? Either you have a Shantaras or that of a servitor. But whereas in the Goloka, you have a higher relationship. So it can be a servitor, it can be that of a Shantaras, it can also be a friend like Arjuna, right? Arjuna is here with Krishna in the Sakya Bhav, or we can have Vatsalya Bhav, that of his mother, Yashoda Devi, or Deviki, Nanda Gopal. All of them are in that Bhav, Vasudeva. And of course, congenial relationship, all his gopis and all of them. So this is the Goloka Vrindavan chart in brief. So I just thought I'll bring this to you all. And you all have any doubts in this, you can ask. Otherwise, I will move to the mind control. Any doubts? No? Okay. So we'll go to mind control. We will have to do this one, right? The physical methods. Before that, Vancha Kalpa Darubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Hare Krishna. So what are we seeing? Right? So we had a quick thing of how mind control plays a role. What we will see today is how particularly how particularly the physical methods do play a role. So we'll see how mind control and its physical methods, right? So we have seen a lot of yogasanas, pranayama, the breathing exercise, the kriyas, the purification. For pranayama, everybody knows, right? Yoga, when you go, the first thing they talk about is breathing, in, out, and all that. Sitting postures. So first, we're going to talk about eating and sleeping. So this is like a moral science class which you have learned in class 1. Early to bed and early to make a person healthy, wise, wealthy and wise. Hare Krishna. Can one of you all read this? We will repeat this in the 17th chapter. This particular stuff about food is very important. Who would like to read this? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I'm seeing only the Goloka chart.
Sorry, Prabhu.
I'm seeing only the Goloka chart. I'm not seeing.
Oh my God, it's not stopped. Okay, let me just stop. Can you now?
Now we can see the screen. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for
Hare
saying
Krishna.
that. Hare Krishna. So, who would like to read? If you all would like to read, I will hold for this. Otherwise, I'll just explain and proceed. What would you like to do? Okay, tell me when you want to read, but till then, I'll quickly explain. So there are different types of food. Something which is very sweet, palatable, very mild to taste is the food in the mode of goodness. And typical, a wedding food will represent that. Whereas if you're talking about very spicy, a typical Andhra, we have 2 reddies here, right? So you know how the Andhra food is so spicy. So that is in the mode of passion. And if the food is very bland, stale, kept for 3 days, 4 days, then that is in the mode of ignorance. So food, which is like more than 3 hours old food, except prasad, that is supposed to be unclean. And that's going to be eaten by people in mode of ignorance. And even if people in mode of goodness eat that, you'll get more into that mode of ignorance. So eating sattvic food is what is spoken. So this is the food which I was talking about. Juicy, very nice, right? Sattvic food means the kind of food which we give to God. So urgency to importance, very important for you all. in your college, what you have to do is what is urgent, what is important. You have a lot of activities around, right? A lot of things like room cleaning, computer games, playing, attending class. So all this is there. So you first have to do what's called this XY chart, right? So you have a particular thing which is currently not important, but then you should know that it is important, may not be urgent, right? You have another activity like smoking. It's neither important nor urgent. It can always wait. You have exams, so it becomes important and urgent, right? Prioritizing. Sometimes it may be urgent, but still not important. Cleaning the room, it is important, but not urgent. It can wait. So you just have to decide on your various priorities. So that becomes very important. So what happens is the different types of people are categorized based on that. So in the quadrant 1, procrastinators are those who typically postpone, right? They are generally burnt out. They are high stress because if you try and put everything, the mediocre performance are all coming in that. The quadrant 2, it is important but not urgent, actually have a proper balance of it. They have a higher performance and they have better control. Because most of the time, what happens, you see two people, either they do everything at the same time, like people like me who do multitasking and get exhausted, or people who are very laid back and they don't care and they get into another room, right? The slacker, they lack responsibility, they're guilty, they are flaky, right? So they are always, for them, everything is laid back, typical ignorance. And the other one is a yes man. He is a pleaser of everyone, right? Everything according to him, even the not important task is urgent for him. For him, reputation matters, his name matters, he's so cautious about himself. This is a beautiful story called The Liquid Beauty of this king. This is a prince, right? And he loves women. So he comes and sees this girl, a girl who's so beautiful, so pretty, and he, at this very look, falls in love with her. So he comes and tells her that I would like to marry you, or I would like to take you to the kingdom, while she hates him because he's a very womanizer kind of a guy. And so she tells that give me 2 weeks, because if she says no, he's going to either kill her or force her. So she says, give me 2 weeks. Please come back after 2 weeks and I will finish my work. And king says, okay, no problem. So he leaves and he comes back after 2 weeks and he's looking for the girl. And there are two pots, right? One, what she's done is 15 days, she's gone into complete starving. She's taken medicine so that she can puke. So there are only two things which she's filled the pot. One is her, whatever she's vomited, another one is stew. Right? She says it's only what you see. That's why it's called liquid beauty, because the very sight and look of this makes a person young. You don't feel like even seeing this, right? And this girl has become so thin, so emaciated that nobody would even like to. So anybody knows who she is? If you know, you can type in chat. So let's see how people have changed over years. So what happens is, can you see, age is just a number. And many times we see, this is another very funny video where, it's like a typical morphing. But many times when you look at people, you get a feeling this person looking more like a dog, like a donkey, like a lion, because these are all transformed. The previous birth, we've been one of that. And slowly, we have become. So okay, this is another lovely story of a brahmachari and a rat. So there is a brahmachari who has been told by his guru to take care of his, his place, and he goes on a pilgrimage. And when he comes back, what happens is the brahmachari has just one pair of outfit, which he washes and dries. Basically, two pairs, one to wear and one to wash. And there are a lot of rats. Having these rats eat all these outfits, so he says that I should handle the rat problem by. He gets a cat, and then he realizes, oh my god, someone has to take care of the cat. We have to feed the cat. It's not easy. So he buys a cow. So then he says, oh my god, there's too much of maintenance issue. It's taken care, but who will take care of the cow? Maintenance is a problem. So he decides to get married. And then ultimately the guru comes after many years and sees this. That's how his family is, right? Typically. So to solve another problem, you can't buy another problem, right? So this is exactly what it is. And this is the funny story. I don't know how many of you all are feeling like laughing, but this is something that made a lot of them curious to peep in and see what was happening. So this is what happens in our life too. Why? Because there is something called circle of concern and circle of influence. Circle of concern is we are concerned about everything around us, everything, virtually things even which we don't have control. This is not what happens to us, but our responses is what is important. See, everybody has similar problems. How simple. Can you all unmute and tell me that is there any person in the class where a teacher has never scolded you? Is there anyone in this group where you've never got a scolding, single scolding from a teacher from LKG till now? Anybody here? Come on, make it more interactive. Otherwise, I'm feeling sleepy.
No, Mataji.
So everybody has got. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for responding. So what is happening is in the class, if this is the case, then what happens? So won't you feel that somebody is like crying if a teacher scolds, somebody is laughing, somebody is not bothered? Do you see the same teacher is scolding all the students who are same age group for the same reason, but is all of them, are they reacting in the same way, or are they reacting differently?
Different.
Yes, thank you so much.
Differently.
So yes, thank you so much. So why are they reacting differently? The only reason they are reacting differently is because they have different reasons to react, right? They have different reasons to take it, right? The reason could be same, the cause can be same, but the reaction to that seems to be very different. The one person seems to be reacting in a very strong way, and another person seems to be reacting in a very mild way. Ultimately, it's the same story for everyone. So what is happening is circle of concern and influence. When it comes to circle of concern, there are a lot of things around you which are the area of concern, but what can you influence is very less. Example, an ugly looking boy, you can't do anything about it. If you're ugly or looking good, what can you do? It's a concern. You can probably increase your powder. Boy is just a statement, it can be a girl also, right? Same way, your public image, you can't do much. People will always have a different perception, right? Your smartness, you're trying to tease people. People love for you. All this you don't have control. Exam results, you don't have. But you're always concerned about that. What is it you can influence? Can you be punctual to school or exam? Yes, you can. Can you be sincere without copying? Very difficult, no, but still you can. Self-discipline? Yes, you can. Can you study for your exam? Yes, you can. But result you can't, right? So that's what Krishna is telling. What you have to act, right? Fighting in the war is Arjuna's duty. He can do it, like how you have to study for the exam. But the results is not in your hand. But that doesn't mean you should fail. Give you 100%. But whatever results come, it's the destination. So this is the difference between a proactive and a reactive behavior. Proactive people always focus on this circle of influence. Work on things they can only worry about, only things which they can handle. But reactive people focus on the circle of, they just react. Oh, he's shouting at me, I will react. Oh, tomorrow they've declared exam. Oh my God, I didn't realize. Boss, you are studying in school, so you have to know that the exam is going to be there. So the proactive person is inside out. He's he always talks like about himself, right? I can be more patient. I can be more cooperative. I can be more wise. Right? Whereas the reactive person is, if I had more friends, if I had a better school, if I had a better environment. Now, I'm not going to ask you what you are, but this is for you yourself to assess what you are. So problem solving to break free, right? He understands the problems, but he tries to solve the problem by his behavior. But in a reactive person, he sees problem by somebody else's behavior, right? So this is your own behavior you have control, but somebody else's behavior you don't have. All you can do is a meaningful prayer, right? Prayer. Oh Lord, give me the courage to change the things which can not be changed, the serenity to accept the things which cannot be changed, and the wisdom to know the difference. Right. So with this, we will stop. Tomorrow we will do the mental methods. Hare Krishna, and this is about it for today. Hare Krishna. Any doubts so far? Otherwise, we can do the story which I promised you. Is there any doubt? There are no doubts. Are there no doubts? Okay. So I will tell you, and today you all decide who's going to chant, and today is 11th day, how many times and all that you can type in the chant. So can I start the story of Madra and Arjuna? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
Madra.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So I will tell you the story today of Arjuna and Subhadra. And what is special about the story is we keep telling that we are very honest, very transparent. And sometimes when it comes to honesty, we tell that how can we be so honest, right? Something is stopping us. So how does the story go? So it starts off with Arjuna is asked to be on a Vanavas for a different reason. I'm not getting into the details of that part of the story. Otherwise, we'll digress and focus a little bit. So he is supposed to go into forest for about a year. And in the process, he goes, right? So he goes to the forest. And the last 4 months, just before the last 4 months, he lands in Dwarka. So there, we have our Krishna, and that's his extreme interest, right? So so he's landing there where Krishna is, so wherever. So he's entering the place, and before he could meet Krishna, Krishna comes out and welcomes him as usual, and he talks to him. And that is the time, Subhadra is fixed. The marriage of Subhadra is actually fixed with whom? Can someone tell me how they fixed the marriage of Subhadra? Right? Can anyone tell me whom they fixed with the marriage of Subhadra? Subhadra is the sister of Krishna. Okay. The marriage of hers, they have fixed with Duryodhana. Right? So they have fixed this wedding with Duryodhana, and that is the time Arjuna is entering. And Krishna, asks Arjuna only one line. He says that, do you like Subhadra? Now, Arjuna has seen her when she was small, but he has heard so much about her because they share a common friend, right? So Subhadra has a friend whom he meets, and they keep talking for long, and he is completely involved, right? That's why Shrunu, right? Hearing is so powerful. And the whole thing, he's like completely in love with her, so madly in love with her that he will come to know, but he will not know. But so he will admit to Krishna that he is very fond. So he will say, do one thing, just listen to me. Now you look nice, go for 4 months, don't show your face here. Come after about a month or 2, after you've grown your, beard, long hair, like you should look like a sannyas, and you come back. Okay, now don't enter the palace. So get completely different, come as a different person. So Arjuna comes. So Krishna says one thing. Okay, why I've called you is now as a Kshatriya, you have the right to kidnap the girl, or that's allowed. So now you can't enter and kidnap because Subhadra is in the palace of Balram, right? Balram has a palace, and Subhadra does not stay in a separate palace. She stays. So you can imagine going and breaking the security of Balram and taking is not easy. Even though Arjuna is talented, he's all by himself, and the Yaju, right? The Yadus are none other than people they've also come from there, from the spiritual world. It's not that from the neighborhood they've come. So it is not easy to attack or leave Arjuna. They will also try and attack, and they are also very powerful. They're also equally powerful because they are also either they are demigods or devatas or from spiritual world. They've all descended. So that's why they say descendants of Rishi. So therefore, he says, don't even try. It's going to be difficult. But what you can do is, since you look like a sannyasi and you are one right now, go and meet Balram. And Balram has this habit, when people serve the devotees of God, they get credits. So he will always call Subhadra to get all the credit, and he'll make her serve. right? So this is the chance which you can do. So Arjuna thinks, I don't know whether Subhadra loves me or not. So he thinks, right? He thinks, but I love her. So I will find out if I get to know that she loves me, then I will go by what Krishna is telling, I will kidnap her. But if she does not love me, then what I will do is I will live, right? Because I don't want to force somebody who's not in interest just because I love, right? So these are the qualities which bring out pure love. Unlike today, where they say you love me or not, you better love me, you marry me. If you don't love me, if I don't get you, you should not be reachable for anyone. Nobody should access you. I will either kill you or I will I will flee acid, or I'll flee away, or I will throw acid on your face, right? That's a current trend. Arjuna has the power, has the approval, but still he doesn't do anything. He's looking forward for the wish of Subhadra. He goes there, and obviously neither he recognizes Balram nor Subhadra recognizes him. Now he is like a sannyas, and when she's like trying to serve him, she gets completely disturbed. Like how do you serve a muni or someone? And the two, imagine she is engaged to Duryodhana, right? So, and those days chastity talks about in the mind. So once you are engaged or once you're married, you don't even think of somebody else. And she will be like, the moment she serves also food. And even Arjuna's look is not like Sannyas. Obviously, he's seen his girlfriend. So how, or his lover, whatever you say, how will his reaction be? Though he tries to put it very mild, but still he is not going to look like a Dhira or a Sannyas, right? So he is like, he is seeing her and so much of vibes, like he's so attracted to her, but he tries hard to control his feelings. While she sees him, she feels he's very different, right? Unlike a sannyasi, his shoulders are very broad. His hands are like really fat, well-built, muscular, like the macho man. Obviously, Arjuna is the hero, right? Superhero. Hero number 2. Krishna is the first hero, of course. So, she's like completely, completely getting distracted and very disturbed. So normally in such a situation, what you keep your mouth shut, right? You'll probably tell your friends maybe, but you keep your mouth shut. So I was talking to you, and why I'm bringing this story is we were telling, right? We are very honest. Such a situation comes to any of us, you're going to type in chat and tell me how would you react? Would you go and tell someone? Imagine engaged, right? Maybe you'll tell your friend, okay, or maybe as a fantasy, will you have the guts to go and tell someone in your family? Yes or no? Especially the girls. If you're in the place of Subhadra and you see a sannyas and you get disturbed, would you go and share that with someone? Can I have the girls unmute? Yes or no? I'm going to wait till you.
Maybe we'll discuss it with our best
Sorry?
friend, but probably not with our family.
I can't hear you a little louder.
If I am in that position, I might discuss it with my best friend, but not with my family.
Thank you so much. Yes, you'll discuss with your best friend, but never with the family, right? So now what happens? Subhadra comes to Krishna's palace, and she tells to Krishna a couple of things. So she tells Krishna, obviously Bhaiya, Dada. So she calls him that. She says that, I want to tell you something. So Krishna says, yes, tell me. So she looks at him and says that, I know what I'm doing is not right. But the moment I see a Brahmana, I don't know why, I'm just not able to control myself. I'm like, he's irresistible for me. Like I'm completely getting distracted. And imagine Krishna and Subhadra are not of the same age, right? So they are way apart. So it is not like, oh, okay, Krishna is like a best friend. They are of the same age group, definitely. Right? Subhadra is much, much younger to Krishna also. But that is the honesty. She openly looks at him eye to eye and says that I'm getting distracted. She never thought, what will my brother judge me? Neither the brother Krishna, which I'm telling, is going to judge, right? That's a specialty. I don't know how many of you all have brothers, and I don't know if you can go and speak up to your brother like this. But Krishna is so simple, so down to earth. He never judges, right? He says, and Krishna says, okay, tell me one thing. Do you like getting engaged to or marrying Duryodhana? She said, no, yeah, I don't like. He said, then why did you tell? She said, yeah, because Balram fixed. Then why did you not talk about this? She said, no, I just don't know, but the very thought of him, no, is very disturbing. Then he says, okay, park the sannyas for a while. I would like to know something from you, right? Our cousin Arjun. What do you think about him? Her eyes are like dilated. She says, wow, Arjun, like, she says, like, how can I not like? And immediately she looks at him and says, is by any chance that Brahmin Arjuna? Krishna's asking, why are you saying? She says that, because I won't have that temptation of something just drawing to me except if it was Arjuna, right? So Krishna is also cross-checking, even though he's a Paramatma in her heart and knows for sure that she loves him. Still, she's like cross-checking, and checking once again, telling, are you, is it Arjuna? Because the moment the name Arjuna came, her eyes, everything got dilated and she's so excited. She says, I think it's Arjuna. I think, don't tell me, no, tell me, because I can feel. Otherwise, sometimes you feel that something is drawing to you, right? Sometimes you feel that somebody is watching you. It could be a bad sign, it could be a good sign. But sometimes when you meet a friend or someone, it keeps lingering in your head. I've seen this person something, oh my God, it's my school friend. I met 2 decades before. That lingering thought she said, no, I know for sure this is Arjuna. He says, very good. Now, if you go with the same excitement, with all your eyes, mouth, straight, Balram will go and punish that fellow because he's already come in disguise. Do you want to give this expression? She'll immediately come. So she'll say that. So he says that, why he's there? Because he would like to know that you are interested, for him to make sure that he can take you. So now, I don't know how you will do, but don't show so much excitement so that the whole world can get to know about you. Just make sure that only Arjuna is able to understand whatever you want to convey. So the next day, as usual, they meet, right? And that time, her face, eyes, everything she's underplaying. But somebody who, like earlier also she underplayed, but obviously there's a difference, right? There she didn't want her feelings to come out of her heart. Now she doesn't want the feelings to be visible to others. But it's always like this, right? People who are in love always think that nobody watches them. So what happens is, that time Arjuna signs, he says like this, and she also acknowledges. So that he takes it as a sign, because it's the last day and the next day onwards Arjuna will not come. And he has to take a call of either kidnapping the girl or leaving the palace, right? So with that sign, he goes and meets Krishna again, and he tells Krishna, I will need only one more thing. Krishna says, what? He says, let me just quickly check with Yudhishthira. He says, why Yudhishthira in this, right? Weird, right? He says, no, because not only just approval, but tomorrow, if I take Subhadra, it's not easy. There is going to be a war, and Vishnus are going to chase me till there, because she's an engaged girl. If he had proposed earlier, it's a different story. And Yudhishthira has to face this fight, because he's my brother and I have to take his approval. So she sends a message. WhatsApp? So what was the WhatsApp those days? Do you have any idea? It's a bird. So the bird goes on WhatsApp to Yudhishthira, and Yudhishthira gives his approval. Right? He says, go ahead. Whatever Krishna says, go ahead. Okay. So that time, obviously, he's come as a Brahmin and he comes walking. So there is no vehicle, nothing Arjuna has. So Krishna says, you can take my chariot. Krishna has this lovely chariot, with all the horses and so powerful chariot. And you should note, it is very unlikely that the chariot of Krishna is touched by anyone, and nobody steals it also. So he hands over, he says, this is a chariot which is very swift, and swiftest of all. Nobody can stop. On one condition, that you can go, but if you stop, there is a possibility everybody will notice, as much as it is fast, right? Only if it is going, it is so fast, and people will see, they will notice, but they can't catch it. But if you pause it, everybody will notice it so much, because it's so attractive, right? Krishna is attractive. All his things are so attractive. So is his chariot. And all the eyes, even the eyes which are dumb, will notice my chariot. And then you can imagine how many people will follow. The choice is yours. So you cannot stop the chariot the moment you start, right? And I can tell you, my sister will be going today with her friends to the temple. It's the girls' puja, so she will be there. So how you do, how you manage, I have no idea, but it's all yours. And he gives the chariot, and he knows Arjuna will take care, and Krishna is like Haram se relaxing. Now here comes our hero, where he mounts on the chariot and he starts off, and the typical movie show comes here, where he is actually riding the chariot in one hand. Even before people could feel or realize that there is somebody approaching, only Subhadra is able to feel that, oh, it is Arjuna, because he sees her brother's chariot. So obviously it's not Krishna. She can recognize it's not her brother, and it's Arjuna approaching her. And she finds out, okay, this is for me and I am safe, right? Because till then, even though Krishna has told, they have not explicitly told her this is going to happen. They are only, okay, we'll see, friends. So Arjuna comes, and she remembers that promise which he told Krishna, that he will not stop. Start here, straight you will go and stop where, next to, where Yudhishthira is, different parts. He goes and he comes very close to her, and in the momentum, he just holds her by a hip, and as he is riding the chariot, he just lifts her up and goes off. Just in a fraction of a second. Until he uplifts her, nobody even realizes that he is coming and he's carrying it. It all comes like a jiffy, gone. And then the whole army wants to chase. They all get up, and Balram is furious. He's so angry, and he says that, come on, you have to catch. How can everybody react? Everybody is angry. Everybody gets up, and that time Krishna is alone, calm. And Balram says, stop, hold it. First and foremost, I have two doubts. One doubt A is, why is Krishna calm, right? Second thing is, how did he have access to Krishna's chariot? It is not easy to come and steal Krishna's chariot. Chariot is still okay. You can steal or you would have brought it. But Krishna's chariot, going, and everything about Krishna is devotee. The Sudarshan Chakra is a devotee. His horse is a devotee. Chariot is a devotee. Everything is living. So none of them will go without Krishna's approval. Even if Arjuna is going to ride, horse won't move, the chariot won't move unless Krishna is giving the approval. So he asks, what is the story? And Krishna says that Subhadra loves Arjuna and Arjuna is loving. This is what happened. Balram is so furious still. He says, why could she not tell? She could have told. Because as of now, I'm very angry with Arjuna. But if he had told, I would have got them married. He said, yes, they would have told you if you had asked. So it's another important lesson, telling that you have to ask. Right? And Krishna is always asking. From the 9th chapter, he's telling, come to me, come to me, come to me. Can you see? That's why Bhagavad Gita is so spoken. Some of them even say, why Krishna is talking about it? Because he wants you to get attracted to him. He wants you to come. He's desperate. Right? Just like how a boy will propose a girl, right? She will do everything to talk about him. I have this, I will study well. Now maybe I'm in 12th standard, but trust me, I'll become a doctor. I know now I'm doing only for 3rd year engineering. I may be jobless. Give me some time. I will do this. Everything he talks, right? Same way Krishna is constantly talking about him. Of course, a fragment, because there's no time. If he has to talk, our lifetime is not enough. But he talks because he wants us so bad, right? And here back, and Balram says, okay, no problem. I'm totally convinced. Now you call them back and everybody comes back. So he does not marry her after lifting her. He goes there and Yudhishthira brings the whole gang and they get them married here in front of Balram, in front of Krishna. And this is the story of Arjuna and Subhadra, and they lived thereafter. Now, after this also is a small continuation where when she goes back to the kingdom, right, Draupadi is so angry with Arjuna. She really burns Arjuna. She says, okay, why did you come? Now you have a beautiful wife, the choice of your lover from childhood. Why are you coming here? What is the need? And Draupadi has taken a promise that anybody can marry any number of times, but nobody else will come to the kingdom. And Arjuna has promised Krishna that he will keep his girl, that is his sister, in the kingdom. And he's promised Balram too. And obviously it's his cousin, right? So he cannot keep her in one isolated place, right? So now he is stuck, both sides. And Draupadi is also burning up because of all of them. She's always loved Arjuna, right, from the beginning. So this is the conflict. So Subhadra says, give me 2 minutes. And she goes in a very normal attire, disguises herself, goes to Draupadi and she says, give me some time. I want to be here. I want to serve you. I want to, as what you want to do. So she will pretend to be like a maid servant. And finally she will say, I am Krishna's sister. That is when Draupadi will be so much in love because she loves Krishna. And she will hug and say that, and she will say, Subhadra will very clearly say, I don't need this kingdom. I don't need the money. I don't need anything. I've always loved Arjuna and that's all I need. I will never come and contest for the queen position. You can always be the most powerful person. All I need is to be with you. And as a servant. And she will say immediately, you will always be here. And she will help. So she was the only princess or the only wife of the Pandavas she allowed in her tragedy. So why are we saying this is because that is a character of Subhadra. So down to earth. Just because she got hold of Arjuna, even though she is the sister of Balram and Krishna, she does not throw it. She could have said, what are you? I am a princess myself. I am a queen. Who are you? And me and Arjuna are cousins from childhood. You are the one who came in the middle. All this is how we talk, right? But Subhadra shows her humility. So this talks about truthfulness and humility of a true devotee, right? Irrespective of her position, she's so humble and she's willing to serve for the sake of her love and her relationship, right? Hare Krishna, and this brings to the continuation of the love story, which still continues in Goloka Vrindavan, and Hare Krishna to all of you. Hare Krishna.
Story, Madra. Well,
Amazing
nice.
story.
Enjoyed the story? Not
Yes,
heard
yes,
before.
so much.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for doing that. So Hare Krishna, all of you, and don't end the meeting. Yeah, Mohandas Prabhu, you can stop the meeting, pause the meeting.
Yeah.
Stop the recording or pause the recording.